open the Ayr Shirley Regional School Committee meeting for Wednesday, May 6th.
Recording in progress.
At 6:33. For those attending tonight's meeting, please be aware that the meeting is being audio and video recorded by Ayr Public Access and ASRSD. Any audience members who wish to record any part of the meeting must inform the chairperson, who will announce the recording. This is to comply with the Mass Wiretap statute. The listings of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may, in fact, be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Per the Ayr Shirley Regional School Committee Policy, BEDH, public comment is not a discussion, debate, or dialogue between citizens in the school committee. It is a citizen's opportunity to express an opinion on issues of school committee business. Citizens will have 3 minutes to express their views. Any staff members addressing the committee are reminded of their obligations under state and federal student records law with respect to maintaining the confidentiality of student record information and refraining from disclosing any personally identifying information regarding students. With that, we will please rise, if you're able, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Michelle, roll call.
Mr. Bresnahan?
Here.
Mr. Bernard?
Here.
Mr. Quincy?
Here.
Mrs. Bucci?
Here.
Mr. Luper?
Here.
Ms. M.
Great, so first item on our agenda is a student showcase for the Page Hilltop Elementary School with Principal Faulkner. Would you like to?
Good evening. Thank you for inviting us to share some of what we have been working on at Page Hilltop Elementary School. I have 6 students here with me from grades 1 and 2 tonight. Our first graders have just completed presentations for their families and other students on their animal habitat project. Students had to do research, write a report, and create a display and present their work several times to students, teachers, and families. With me tonight from first grade are Finn Jones, Jocelyn Shen, Mila McCooch, and Mackenzie Carruthers-Gray. We're going to start with Finn Jones.
See that pat on the back? That's cool.
So Finn, he did his animal habitat project on the black rhino. All right? Okay.
Do you want to learn about the black rhinos? Black rhinos are amazing animals. Black rhinos live in the African savanna. The savanna has open plains, gathered trees, and tall grass. Black rhinos make their home in dense brush, shrubs, and woodlands. Black rhinos are large animals with gray skin. Black rhinos have 2 horns on their nose. Black rhinos have a large horn head braided short neck and short thick legs. Did you know black rhinos have adaptations that help them survive in the African savanna? They wallow in mud to regulate their body temperature and protect their skin from insects. Black rhinos are herbivores. They only eat plants like twigs, fruit, and leaves. Did you know that black rhinos babies can weigh up to 100 pounds? Black rhinos have incredible hearing. Black rhinos are very interesting animals.
Tell them about the author.
All about the author. Finn Jones is a 6-year-old first grade at Page Hilltop. Finn lives at home with his brother, mom, and dad. He has 2 dogs and 2 cats. When he grows up, Finn wants to be a police officer.
Nice job. Thank you, Finn. Up next is going to be Jocelyn Shen. Can you tell them what you studied?
Black-tailed jackrabbit. Do you want to learn about black-tailed jackrabbits? Black-tailed jackrabbits are amazing animals. Black-tailed jackrabbits live in the desert. They make a nest shrubs or live in tall grass, lined with grass and fur. Jackrabbits are pretty small, sometimes big. Jackrabbits have big ears, long legs, big ears to be predators, long legs to run fast. Did you know black-tailed jackrabbits have adaptations that help them survive in the desert? Long legs, run fast, big ears to their predators. Black-tailed jackrabbits are herbivores. They only eat plants like leaves, grass, bark, and cactus. Jackrabbits they drink almost no water. 15 jackrabbits eat the same amount of ground. Their digestive is the same as a horse. Jocelyn is a 7-year-old writer who lives in a nice neighborhood. Jocelyn likes to rollerblade with her brother Owen.
What do you have?
The gymnast is probably going to change though.
She's already changed her mind about what she wants to do.
next is Mila McCooch.
All about the swordfish. The swordfish. Do you want to learn about swordfish? They are amazing animals. Swordfish live in the open waters of the Pacific Caribbean Sea. They like warm to temperate waters and migrate with the seasons to find warmer water. Swordfish have smooth skin and no scales. They have large eyes and a forked tail fin. They have a sword-like nose, and adult swordfish have no teeth. Swordfish can reach up to 12 feet long and 1,000 pounds in size. Did you know swordfish have adaptations that can help them survive in the ocean? Their bill acts like a sword that they use to defend themselves from predators. Swordfish are carnivores. They eat other animals like small fish and squid. Here are some interesting facts about the swordfish. Swordfish can swim up to 60 miles per hour. That's faster than a cheetah. They can also travel thousands of miles in 1 year. They can heat up their eyes and brain to give themselves super sight in cold, dark waters. 4. They can live up for 9 to 15 years. Now you know about the swordfish. All about the author. Mila is a 7-year-old first grader at Page Hilltop. Mila likes to make crafts and play board games with friends and family. This report was written and illustrated on April 7th, 2026 by Mila McCooch.
All right, and our final first grader is going to be Mackenzie Carruthers Gray.
This is the best.
Have a tablet for it.
That's awesome.
What do you like to know about the giraffe? Giraffes are amazing animals. Giraffes live in the African savanna. Giraffes sleep standing up. There are lots of trees and grass. Giraffes are tanned with dark black spots. They are between 14 and 19 feet tall. Giraffes have very long necks and tongues. Giraffes have hooves. Did you know that giraffes have adaptations that help them survive in the African savanna? They have a long neck that helps them reach leaves high on tall trees. They have long legs to help them run fast. Giraffes are herbivores. They only eat plants like acacia, leaves, twigs, buds, flowers, and fruits. Did you know that giraffes are the tallest land animals? Giraffes' tongues are 18 inches long. Baby giraffes can walk right after they're born. Giraffes are very interesting animals. Mackenzie Giraffe is grade 16 first grader at Page Hilltop. He lives at home with his mom, his brother, and sister, and he has a dog, a baby dragon, and a cat. His favorite animal is a cat. When he grows up, Mackenzie wants to be a firefighter.
So our second grade students held their wax museum presentations in March and in April. Students had to research a famous person, write about them, create a presentation about them, and dress up like them. They also presented to students, teachers, and families. With me tonight from second grade are Remy Carruthers-Gray and Luke Grubb. Remy Carruthers-Gray will go first.
This is great. How's the little chat?
Who was Neil
Boston.
Armstrong? Childhood. Neil Armstrong grew up in Ohio. Important people: Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. Education: Neil Armstrong learned to be an engineer in Purdue University. Career: astronaut. 5 personal characteristics: smart, kind, calm, brave, intimate. Accomplishments: the first human to step on the moon. Things you may not know: that Neil Armstrong read more than 100 books in 1 year. Quotes: that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Timeline and events: born on August 5th, 1930. Flies 78 fighter missions during Korean War, 1951 to 1952. Soviet Union launches Sputnik into space, October 4, 1957. U.S. launches its first satellite, June 31st, 1958. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin become first to walk on the moon, July 20th, 1969. Died August 25th, 2012.
And our final student presentation is Luke Grubb.
Hi, my name is Jackie Robinson. I was born on January 31st, 1919. Did you know that I helped end segregation in baseball? Another fact about me is that I was the first African American to play in an all-white baseball team. I would like to show you my project.
So Luke created a book. He's not going to read everything from it. He's going to read some. If you want to start here.
Child. Jackie was born on January 31st, 1919 in Georgia. He had 3 brothers and 1 sister. College. During his senior years, he played basketball, baseball, football, and track. Jackie's job. Jackie began playing baseball for the Kansas City Monarchs in 1945. He got signed to the Dodgers on April 15, 1947. Important life events. Jackie became a soldier during World War II. Jackie retired from baseball in 1956. In 1962, Jackie became the first black player to be voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Timeline. 1919. Born on January 31st. 1946. Marries Rachel Isa. 1947. Begins playing for the Brooklyn Dodgers. In 1955. Helps Dodgers win the World Series. 1972. Dies on October 24th. About the author Luke. Luke is a second grade student at Page Hilltop. He plays baseball in the rookie leagues. His birthday is on April 19th. Did you know that Luke's favorite color is green? The end.
So thank you for the opportunity to present these wonderful projects. We enjoy watching our students sharing what they have learned about every year. I want to say, I think it's really apparent, we talked earlier in the year when we did our school improvement plan that we were going to emphasize a focus on writing. And our teachers really took the charge on that, and they have done a ton of writing. These are just a few examples of it in our younger grades, but our older grades have also really just dove into that with so much enthusiasm. So I'm really excited about what we're going to be seeing from our students in writing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you have a question? Yes.
Thank you for coming. These kids were great. You let them go too soon. I have about 1,000 questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to have them
No,
answer
no.
questions? All right. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you kids for all coming. That
Thank
was
you,
really,
guys. Thanks,
that was
parents.
fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
So many questions about the black rhino that
I know.
will go unanswered.
Right, I mean, giraffe.
That was
we have a whole thing here.
quite the rhino.
Astronauts, we have a whole thing here.
I think I'm most surprised about 60 miles per hour by the swordfish. That's
Yeah. And no teeth.
yeah. That's all right. I know that.
I was.
That's fast. That's one delicious.
I mean, better than having a yummy rhino last week.
They were in the Atlantic.
Okay. Next up on our agenda is our high school representatives,
I know, we used to catch them.
Mr. Holbrook
Cape Cod.
and Miss Obasan. Colin, nice sweatshirt.
Thank you.
Which is University of what?
This is
UMass Lowell.
Oh, UMass Lowell.
Yes. So that's kind of the first thing I had was I committed to a college finally. It was such a relieving feeling. I wish I had done it sooner. I did it probably about like 5 days before the deadline. So, but I mean, I still got those 5 days to be like, oh, I'm glad I picked. Some of my friends were still like struggling to make their choice. But yeah, it's like I'm going into biomedical engineering as of right now. I'm really interested in all the engineering. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna pursue still, but I'm probably planning on taking this class. It's like intro to engineering. It gives you a little bit of everything. And also I like biomedical because it still keeps like the pre-med track open because that still interests me too. So I was trying to hone in my decision and it actually made me realize I don't know what I want to do at all yet, and I still have a lot of thinking to do about that, but I'm sure college will help with that. AP tests are also happening right now. I just took my AP Gov one yesterday. I think it went really good. There were a couple questions that I was like, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did pretty good. And then I have AP Physics and AP Calculus Mechanics coming up in the next week. Besides that, senior trips are happening, and I think next week is prom, and like the week after that is when all of our trips start. I'm very excited. I've been helping plan them because I'm on student council, and I'm actually happy that it's been kind of a little difficult to get them in place because we were a little late, and also it's like hard with how packed the senior schedule is to really fit everything you want to do. So we have to make some compromises, but I'm happy with the trips that we ended up with, and yeah, I'm very excited for that. And prom is coming up, plus my promposal, which I still need to do for my girlfriend. I'm a little late on that. I feel a little bad. We only got like a week left, but I'm gonna do it in the following days before the weekend. But yeah, I'm excited. Senior prom, it's gonna be great. I'm going in a limo with all my friends, and yeah, it's just really something to look forward to.
Your experience. Plus, talking about your experience being a student representative.
Oh yeah, and my experience being a student representative, of course. It's been such a great experience. I really appreciated all the advice that, although it may have come in like small little bits, like every now and again, because these meetings aren't very often, everything actually really helped me, and I appreciate everything, and appreciate Mr. Christie for giving me this opportunity. It's been great. I feel like it's definitely helped me also like overcome kind of my fear of like just talking to people in a more professional standing, because like it's different talking to people here on this like board compared to in a classroom in a presentation. I felt a little more pressure at first, but then I realized that it's honestly just kind of talking about how my life is going, but I'm glad to have gotten this opportunity. So thank you guys. That's all I got. Anyone has any questions? Yes.
University of Lowell has been coming along for a number of years now in engineering, and I think it's underrated. And you know, sometimes you think the stuff that's closest you don't need to look at, but I've heard really good things about it, and I end up meeting a lot of engineers. So good luck there. I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, I heard about it because my grandpa and my grandpa and grandma met there when it was two separate colleges, like Lowell Tech, I think it was called. And I was like, so I've known about it for a while, luckily. I think it was just coming down to like money and like how far I wanted to be away. I just felt like it was the best choice for me.
I've attended Lowell State and Lowell Tech.
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
That's fine, right? So
I know.
before they emerged, but it's a brief story. My nephew Patrick wanted to go to Rice, a lot of money, you know, good engineering school. And so why don't you do a couple of years in UMass somewhere and then matriculate up to Rice, just get the grade. So he did 2 years at UMass Lowell and he got accepted to Rice. And then as I was talking to him, he said, you know, we have a really small, tight engineering department. And I really like the people and the professors, so I think I'm going to stay. So consequently stayed there. He ended up, and something you should consider when there is nuclear engineering because of the fields. That is a really burgeoning field that is really short on talent right now because plants are getting smaller and more local. So my nephew graduated from there, and he's now a nuclear engineer for working as a civilian for the Navy on submarines and ships. See, he's out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. He lives in York, Maine, but he gets to fly to San Diego and Hawaii and Japan and basically all over the world. So it's a pretty good gig. But in his office, everybody, you know, the kids in there are Carnegie Mellon, MIT, they're all around. They call him the state school kid, right? And he's like, well, let's see, a couple of things. One, we're all the same pay grade, so we get the exact same money. I have no student loans, and our boss is a UMass Lowell graduate, so it all works out. So when you're there, don't bypass nuclear options.
I know they have a reactor on campus.
They do.
Too.
They do.
That's
yeah.
pretty. I mean, this is great news hearing that. I mean, I know it's like I've heard a lot of great things about it. I'm very excited, and that just. I got so many options.
Yeah. Secondly, are you going to walk on for hockey?
I wish, you know, they called me, but I had to decline. I was like, engineering's going to be too hard. Probably should just focus on academics. But I think I'm going to try to do club.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go.
You could talk to one of our selectmen, Mr. Tavares, who I believe works at that lab at UMass Lowell in the nuclear lab. So I chat with Mr. Tavares a little bit. Might be a good connection for you.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Colin, have you been doing the Instagram account? Do you do a couple of different accounts? The student
I am mostly involved with the main one, like the Panthers Troy is the one that's like kind of on all the other ones, like the commitment page. But I'm one of the people that's in the Panther suit. If anybody's seen those videos, those are the more of the kind of silly ones are the ones I'm involved with.
What's the main one that you do?
I think it's just the ASRSD Panthers page.
If anybody has not, if you're not on Instagram, or if you haven't seen this page, then you have to go search it. And it's great content. I mean, I love it. They actually do a lot of informational things as well as fun things. The commitment things with everybody in their sweatshirt was just, it brought a tear to my eye. It was greatly well done. I mean, everything about that, it represents the school in a great way. It's fun. So you did a great job with that, and you know, into the administration to bring that up and have the kids doing it. It's been a lot of fun to watch over the year.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like we were able to take we always had a school account, but we were able to like actually start like.
It's a whole nother level.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Following social media trends and actually trying to do some like fun things to get some more engagement. I think we grew the account by like twice as many followers. In like 1 year,
it's a great representation of the school. It's really been fun to watch and to see. Yeah.
there's a theme of procrastination early in your update. I would say of the things to not to procrastinate, it would be taking care of significant others. So I'd recommend that be the thing you prioritize shortly.
I would focus on that over like signing up for orientation.
Sure, yeah. And as someone who personally went to 4 different colleges to finish their undergrad, where you start might not be where you finish. And, again, you have so many options ahead of you. Your point about, becoming more comfortable in this space. My wife used to work at a preschool called Kids Are People Too. Like, the reality is like grown-ups are people too. And so I think as you are interacting with the world, like all of us are just people, Mr. DeVar is like, all of these are assets to you. Everyone wants you to be successful. And so I just would encourage you to continue the comfort you have built in this space, just, taking that with you from here, because all of us want you to do well. Everyone who you meet at UMass Lowell is going to want the same. So just don't be shy and take the chances.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely will. This has helped me learn that. Sometimes you just gotta talk to people, even if your mind is telling you like, oh, maybe you shouldn't. Like, you should just do it, because it's not actually that scary at all.
There you go.
Congrats, Colin.
Well played.
Congratulations.
I lost that
So I have only 3 major big things for the end of the year, but I did start volunteering with a couple of my friends at the Unified Track Team. We just competed at the Moberg sectionals yesterday, and it was really great. It was a lot of fun, a lot of food, and just a lot of enthusiasm, which was really great. We did end up being second in our overall division, which is really great. I'm glad I could contribute with my skills in long jump and the 4x4, which was really great. I think that was a really great time with just everyone there. Also, it's the home stretch, as Colin said, with all the AP testing. All my classes are kind of just coming up to the point where we're just testing and getting ready for the upcoming weeks, and I'm grateful that we can finally be almost done with the school year. But also for the music department, we also have tomorrow, which is going to be our spring concert for the year, which is really great. It's going to be on 6:30 p.m. I believe, which is really great. So come support the jazz band concert and the choir, which is really great. But yeah, those are the main big things of Maddox so far. Any questions?
So I just want to make sure I'm right. So the spring concert's tomorrow, here, Wednesday, at what time?
Thursday.
Thursday. I don't even know what day it is. Thursday.
Awesome. What instrument do you play?
So I do oboe for concert, and then I do saxophone for jazz band. So
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Multiple.
excited for that.
Very cool.
I know.
Wow, that's great.
Do you have a solo?
In La La Land, there's a solo for oboe, which is really small, but it's really cute. I like it. Yeah.
So I have a will be 9th grader next year, and is in the band and is trying to decide, actually I think she had to choose, so she may have decided already, which band to pick to fit into her schedule. Recommendations for a incoming freshman.
I think for freshmen, it's always really nice to have a set class. I think having the concert band class and having that as an honors class is also really nice for being able to just get in with the scene of concert, being able to have a practice in a high school setting, which is really great. That's what I did freshman year.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my friends were doing that freshman year, but as we got into taking more AP classes and prioritizing other things extracurriculars, we kind of straight away and joined jazz band, where it was having that after school opportunity, but not having the commitment of the full class, but still being able to participate in the concert band, which is really cool.
It's great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you wouldn't mind for just one moment, tonight will be Colin's last meeting. So I just want to say, for me, thank you, Colin. You have an infectious energy to yourself and questionable haircuts sometimes. What Colin wasn't telling you is one of the reasons why he was procrastinating on his promposal is one of my least favorite activities to see your assassin, as many of you have read. Colin was afraid that his girlfriend was potentially going to assassinate him during the promposal, which led to the delay. So we believe we've solved this now, and that he can continue. He's safe. But truly, it's been wonderful to meet with you every month for the last 2 years. You really are an incredible young man, and the world of engineering is lucky to have you. And for Alucci's been amazing this year. You continue to astound me with all of your projects, and I can't wait to see you lead an upcoming junior next year. Thank you.
It was really nice to be on the board with Colin. I think he's a really nice and humble person. I also just wanted to say that it was really nice to get the chance to have another person's perspective, especially like another student, which you don't usually get because you're usually in like your own social groups. And I think that's really cool that this place gives us that opportunity. So, yeah.
You'll be back next year?
Yes, I will.
Great.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Great job.
Thank you, Alucci. Thank you, Colin.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
if you have the opportunity sometime next week, do me a solid, and if you come across the Queen of Hearts, tell her that, 1, she frightens me, and 2, she has no ceiling.
Will do.
Thank you so much.
Will do. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the show.
Okay, so public comment. I don't
She just left.
know that we have anyone in the room, so is there anybody
I think she just
online?
She just left, so.
Was she actually planning to be public comment?
No.
Oh, she wasn't?
No.
I thought she was going to present that.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, so for vote is our consent agenda. We have April 7, 2026 regular session minutes for release. The middle school out-of-state field trip, Trills and Thrills Festival, adjudication of concert band, May 29th, 2026 to Bristol, Connecticut. We can vote on all these together. Warrants, our AP warrant 1145 dated 4/10/2026. AP warrant 1146 dated 4/10/2026. AP warrant 1150 dated 4/24/2026. And AP warrant 1151 dated 4/24/2026. Payroll warrant 21 dated 4/17/2026. And payroll warrant 22 dated 5/1/2026. So all warrants as shown.
I'd make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, including regular session minutes, the middle school field trip, and the warrants listed.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. On to our new business. For our FY26 budget update, a request for revolving funds. Mr. Plunkett.
Mr. Chairman, we're coming into the last stretch here with our FY26 budget, and we want to be very conservative as we close and make sure that the budget is balanced at the end of the year. So to help facilitate that, we'd like to request access to 2 revolving funds, the Special Education Reserve Fund and the Capital Stabilization Fund. We would propose to request an amount not to exceed $300,000 from the Special Ed Reserve Fund and $200,000 from the Capital Stabilization Fund. We don't think we need all of this money, but we want to be able to close out any deficits at the close of this fiscal year. So with having access to those 2, we would be able to balance out any deficits and not have to be in a shortfall at the end of the year. We also have the FY26 OPEB contribution, and it's in an abundance of caution that we would like to pause it for this year for FY26, and it's a contribution of $10,000 that we make, and we would resume that next year. So these are the funds that we would like to access, and also to pose the OPEB contribution for FY26. And we would need a vote for us to have access to it. Like I said, we may not need the funds. As we go through the close, we'll be more certain of what we really need to finish off. the budget.
Go ahead, Joyce.
Reading the balance there that you thought you might have on the special education and on the capital stabilization, and I know the OPED contribution is something that we have to keep doing, and if we have enough left over, say $10,000, shouldn't we just continue the OPED to show good faith?
Well, that's up to you. I did make two motions for the OPEB to be separate if you wanted to continue with the OPEB contribution and not pause it.
If I may, if I'm hearing you correct, are you asking us to reassess at a later school committee meeting once we,
I had to find the press and tell you.
once our undesignated funds are better known in June, if we have the money, then go ahead and make that contribution?
Well, we have that obligation.
Yes.
And it's something that it's going to be harder and harder and harder as we go along. And so not to stop it for 1 year, I think this is a big thing that is required.
I think we could pause that, and if needed, we could bring that back at a later date. I'm just going to clarify, Mr. Plunkett, is there a specific time we need to make that payment?
It has to be done during this fiscal year.
So before July 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, so we have time.
We do.
To evaluate it. And while, this is something that everybody has a problem with, but to skip it 1 year, I think that we have to keep showing that we have a healthy respect. I'm trying to think what to put in there to show that we're doing something.
We can certainly pause this and reevaluate come June.
Yeah.
Whether or not we'll have the funds. We don't, as Mr. Plunkett said, we don't expect to use all of these funds from the Special Education Reserve and Capital Stabilization. We are realizing some savings every day. But having just gone through the E&D certification process, we want to make sure that we are taking the advice of the DOR and closing out the way that they would expect us to moving forward. So we can bring that up in the first meeting or the second meeting in June.
I think it's something that it's very easy to try to, because ever since they have implemented it, it's been difficult for everybody in the whole state to do it. But to cross it off I don't think is a wise way to approach it.
Can I ask, I'm sorry if I didn't hear at the beginning, Joyce.
Okay, so.
What are we gaining by delaying this, do you think?
Well, so we have a fairly big obligation to do OPED, like everybody in the state does. And I don't think anybody in the state is meeting it because, prices are going up, budgets are tight, and the kids come first. But to say that we're just going to ignore it for a year, I don't think that's what we want to do. To show that we are trying to do something, and that's the way I think we've always approached it. And no one ever wants to think about this. This is like,
We're happy to pause this for this meeting and come back with the recommendation. We very well may come back with recommending that. This is not something that we want to do. This is,
So the other things,
there are many districts
good,
doing
I think that I would not really want to approve that item and bring it back and do it later.
Just a question, when was the last time that the account or the fund has been evaluated? Is it in good standing? Is it not? Do you guys have to do, doesn't it have to be?
We're up for evaluation this year, June 30.
Okay. But we wouldn't have that information until after the decision would have to be made then?
Correct.
Okay.
For that date, for that valuation date. We do have prior ones.
Okay.
I actually don't think it's a terrible idea to wait. We are realizing some savings every day. We are unencumbering funds. We are scrubbing different lines. So there is the chance that we won't need that. But we definitely don't want to, we want to take the advice in the direction from the DOR, which is to make sure that we are not using E&D funds to rectify any shortfalls, and so that we don't end the year with a deficit. So really, the most important items here tonight are the access to the revolving funds, or excuse me, the reserve funds, which we do not expect to use all of those. And that's why we are saying up to. So we will only take exactly what we need to rectify any shortfalls before the closeout of this fiscal year. But we can absolutely come back at the next meeting or the final meeting of the year. And if we really need that 10,000 from OPEB, we will make that recommendation again.
When do we actually make the payment to OPEB? Like, we're saying we could do it in the last 2 meetings in June, but is it, again, I'm like, do we have a schedule? Like, is it going to go out May 30th sort of automatically, or you know?
We just have to do it before June 30th.
Okay. So this conversation, Bill, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to make sure that check doesn't go out until we've, okay.
And I wasn't trying to challenge, I just didn't hear, so I wanted to educate myself, Joyce. So.
Well, it's, you know, it's something that sits there like.
I'd just say
And it's in the, it was in the original budget, it's in the budget every year, right?
clearly the 10,000 doesn't help our OPEB standing one iota. But the OPEB is a global issue. And what it does for me, if we're able to keep it, and we can review it later, but I would certainly, if there's a way we can keep making that 10,000 contribution, I just want to be in the same boat with everybody else who's doing the exact same thing we're doing, saying like, we know it's there, we know it's a giant liability, everybody has a giant liability, we have no idea what to do with it, but we're doing what everybody else does, so I want to be treated like everybody else. I don't want to do anything that says we're just going to like get out of the boat for a while.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. This recommendation is really one of the reasons we're making it. Many districts, especially those looking for overrides, are pausing for this year. Yeah. But if we can, and we very well may be able to make that payment, I think it is showing good faith to make that. So I don't think, unless Mr. Plunkett, you're thinking differently, that pausing the decision on OPEB tonight is not a problem.
Yeah, I feel waiting as long as we can is the best. If we can get it in, we'll get it in.
In terms of the motion that you need, is it that we move the 300 from SPED and the 200 from cap stabilization to general, or
it would be
just saying to make it available?
Authorizing the use of the funds,
okay.
up to, not to exceed.
Up to, yep.
And I do have it written out if you want to take a look at it.
Good idea.
Who wants it?
Chris is making the noise.
Top one.
I'd like to hear your freelance.
I felt like I could have done it, but
the trust is gone.
I just wanted to make sure I was putting it in the right place for you, Bill. I'd make a motion to approve the use of funding from the Special Education Reserve Fund not to exceed $300,000 and funding not to exceed $200,000 from the Capital Stabilization Fund to balance the FY26 appropriated budget if needed at June 30th, 2026.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Plunkett. Let's see, where am I? Recommendation to accept school choice students for the 26-27 school year based on available seats. Dr. Renda.
Thank you. That's essentially what I'm asking. Every year around this time, we ask school committee to open school choice based on available seats. What you see in front of you is a list of schools and grade levels where we have available seats. You'll notice that kindergarten at both Page Hilltop and Law and 9th grade at the high school are to be determined. We don't yet know the class sizes of those grades. We will know the high school soon, before the end of this year, and the kindergarten, we really won't be able to open those for available seats until sometime in August. We don't have lots of seats available. The middle school currently has the most, but we would like to accept as many school choice as we can this time around. it is a help fiscally.
If I remember correctly, we don't take students in 10th, 11th, and 12th grades, generally for cultural reasons. Like, I'm trying to remember the rationale why.
Yeah, it's not that we don't want to, but oftentimes it's, unfortunately, the way that accountability works in the state, oftentimes when a student is in high school is looking to school choice, it is because it is going to be very difficult for them to graduate. The second we say yes to that, if it's let's say an 11th grader or a 12th grader, we probably won't be able to get them across the finish line, and then that hurts us as far as graduation rates and dropout rates. And we hate to make decisions based on that, but it's a reality of how the school is judged, and that with that accountability comes a whole lot of work that we have to do with the state.
Yep.
So I think you find that's common throughout the state.
Yep.
Not everyone, but many high schools only take freshmen because we can have them for 4 years. We can guide them through the process, and we feel like we have a good opportunity to make sure they graduate.
We did, I think, at one point talk about considering accepting some after, but it was largely because some of the other community schools were talking about like eliminating all sports or something. Like, I think Lunenburg's in a really tough position, and so I don't.
Yeah, and that's something that we're kind of monitoring now. I know that their override passed at town meeting. It's going to be on the ballot, but I would not be surprised based on what's happening at some of our other local high schools that we might have some requests. If we have an abundance of requests and we feel like we have seats, we may revisit this with the school committee about opening.
Okay.
Can I
Joyce,
trivia questions? So what do we see for kids moving into towns and stuff like this? So let's say the last 3 or 4 years, typically in total enrollment, but do we lose more or gain more? Because there's a lot of new housing, and sometimes people don't move till December, and any time we could get, like where we want to keep our class size at a certain time, someone moves into town, we don't have a choice. This isn't a choice student thing.
So if it's a resident, this would have nothing to do with school choice. If they live within the...
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But just
we're up 23...
How much we've been impacted by that?
By our local enrollment?
Yeah.
We're up 23 students from Shirley this year, and we're down 88, but about 30 of those students were from the shelter. So we were down roughly 58 students from Air. So overall, we're down. Yeah. We're down some students. We are expecting enrollment to grow. There's lots of units about to either start being built or to start being sold in Air.
Yes, and in Shirley too.
And in Shirley too, that's great.
Right, there's a number that are getting ready to blossom. So these numbers, so it's tricky because if you say you take choice kids and then you take the choice kids and then you get...
Well, that's one of the reasons we say based on available seats. So these numbers will change. By next week, some of these numbers would change based on students either moving in or moving out. We ask for it this way specifically to address your concern. We want to make sure that our class sizes aren't too high, and that if we are full with students who live in Air and Shirley, we'll close that section. You'll notice we have different grade levels closed throughout both the elementary and middle school, and it's based for that reason. And we have really healthy class sizes. I mean, I think the largest class size we have is 8th grade at the middle school. I think it's 26, but that number will reduce going into high school because many of those students will be attending Neshoba Tech.
Right.
Or Parker.
Any other questions?
As far as some of the classes that are maybe having more challenges, like behaviorally and needing more support, are you also looking at that before you allow them? I just know that even the classes that might be smaller, they're not really smaller because they are just so, challenging for the teachers. So I would just be worried about accepting more in some of those grades?
We can. We haven't. That's a good point. We can. So we could look at lowering what we have in a self-imposed cap, and for I believe K-1 it's 20 students. 2 through 5 it's 22. I believe the middle school we moved to 25. And the high school would be 25. So that is a good point. We could. I think I know the grade level that you're referencing, and that is at 20. So really, there aren't many seats open. There's really 5 seats.
Yeah.
And it's actually a little bit less than that because of the 0.3. So it really wouldn't impact that grade level moving into second grade all that much anyway, but that is something that we could absolutely consider.
Yeah, I just think sometimes the numbers are deceiving. You know, it looks like.
I think that is true.
Okay, great.
And from a fiscal standpoint, we're down 50 students-ish.
About 50 students.
And in a year with rising costs, right, like filling some of those seats, right? Like in total here, there's a 65-ish openings. I would be surprised if we had 65 students school choice into the district. But it feels, again, especially given the sort of financial constraints that we're in, having some students choice in would be 86, okay. Would be important to make up some of that deficit.
Yeah, so we're down 86 in Air, but we're up 23 in Shirley, so that brings.
We were just looking at the choice numbers.
Oh, 86.
I think this shows we have 86 choice.
Yeah. But that's K to 12, and those are students that we already have.
Right.
We typically get maybe 30 requests. It's around 30 requests over the summer, and it ranges anywhere from accepting 5 to 15, I think was probably the most since I've been here. So it's not we're not taking on 86 kids in 1 year.
Right.
And we're going to be losing some of those. There's some of our seniors that are graduating, I'm sure, our choice. So it is a good idea and healthy to keep the numbers. We want to keep it around 86. Last year or 2 years ago, we had 100 in, and we had 100 choicing out. So we'd like to at least break even there. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have more requests for choicing in this summer. But it's been roughly around 30. But with this, unless we get a very high number of kids wanting a choice in the middle school, it won't have a huge impact. We're looking somewhere between 5 and 15 kids again.
And that's, I mean, generally where you have school, historically when you have families choicing in, is there grades where it's most common? It's like kindergarten was rough, we're gonna look for a different first grade experience, or middle school was rough, we're gonna look for or is it just random? All of a sudden, third grade, you have a kid showing up.
It's pretty random. I would say 7th grade's a big one. I think they start middle school.
Okay.
And maybe the middle school experience wherever they were wasn't great, and they're looking for a change. And that will start November, December of next year. They'll start rolling in. We do a lottery. The only time we allow, if we have students who are moving who want a school choice, we allow them to stay.
Yeah.
And then they end up in part of that lottery. But we do a lottery in August, and if we need another, we do it sometime after winter break. We did stop doing the rolling
admission.
Yeah, and that's not recommended. The lottery is what is recommended by the state. But I haven't noticed a pattern. 7th grade's one. That's really at first. we tend to get some kindergarten requests because some of our neighbors don't offer full day or free kindergarten, so we get some requests there. But we take very, very few kindergarten requests.
Right, especially because you need to hold it till August. Yeah.
Roughly what's our balance with choice out?
Our choice out is right around 100. Do you have that?
So we fairly balanced choice out and choice in?
We're short about 15.
We're short about 15?
Yep.
I hear an echo over here.
They're pretty close. We can, I don't have the number on me, I can get you that number.
I just, it's part of this picture, really.
Yeah.
Because talking about the fiscal balance of it, so that's why I ask.
Yeah. We do like to keep those. We would actually like to have a few more in. But for instance, if we had 50 students school choice in, which that's not going to happen, that would be $250,000. So it is, it's kind of a double-edged sword. That's a nice amount of money to receive, especially when money is tight. However, we do often find that school choice students are more expensive to educate than the $5,000 that we get from the state. So that is one of the reasons that we started to go more conservative with accepting school choice in. But when money is tight, you change those priorities a bit. And like many of our neighbors, it's tough times, so we are looking to possibly up that, but it's going to be under 20, and I would be surprised if it was even at 15, based on the available seats.
Right.
Any other questions? If not, this does require a vote.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the choice in students for next school year on the 26-27 school year, beginning July 1st, 2026, as projected at this time.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next on our agenda is the reappointment of Dr. Renda to the Keystone Collaborative Board of Directors for the 26-27 school year. Dr. Renda?
So once a year, a representative from Mayor Shirley needs to be appointed to be on the executive board for, is this for CAPS or Keystone? Keystone. For Keystone Collaborative. Traditionally, that has been the superintendent. I'm happy to continue doing it. I am actually on their facilities committee, so it would be much easier for Keystone if I was reappointed. Again, I'm happy to do it, answer any questions. I guess if Dr. Cleary or Mr. Plunkett would like to do that, or a committee member, by all means, that can happen, but for continuity purposes, it would probably be easiest if it was me.
Questions?
This brings up a question. How many collaboratives are we involved with now?
Well, we're members of two.
Keystone and
CAPS.
Right.
We are involved in other we do have students in other collaboratives, other district students who attend other collaboratives that we're not a member of. But we are members of two.
Members of two, right. And are they still, is it CAPS who's leasing the space in the high school, or is that Keystone?
Keystone is renting space in the high school, and CAPS is renting space at Page Hilltop. In fact, we have students from CAPS, their deaf and hard of hearing program, that attend class with students from Page Hilltop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important.
It is. We're happy to have them.
It seemed like we used to get reports.
I'm sorry?
How often do they meet?
Once a month.
It seemed like we used to get reports from CAPS and Keystone as to some of their functioning and students and stuff like that, and I don't think we've seen that recently. Have they stopped doing that, or is it necessary, or?
I don't think we've received those.
We used to get stuff from Keystone fairly often, like how many students they had, yeah.
I don't think in the last 5 years. I mean, I can absolutely ask for that. I'm sure they'd be happy to provide it. You are getting an update tonight from CAPS on their the quarterly update for their budget. But I'm happy to speak with John DeMange and ask for updates for the same type of updates from Keystone.
I think it's good for them.
Yeah.
To, be more public with their information. It makes them stronger.
Yeah, I would believe if we asked for it, we would probably receive it in an email within an hour or two. I think they have all of this.
Yeah, no, but it was a public presentation at school committee for some period of time. So, I don't know, I think may have glazed over, but good for them to get their
Yeah.
publicity out.
Mr. Chairman, there was a question about school choice numbers, and we have 81 receiving and 87 sending, so we're just about breaking even, 6 more going out than coming into air shortly. That's as of the October 1 numbers from FY '25. Or no, calendar '25.
Okay, it's like...
Thank you, Mr. Plunkett.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the Keystone?
No, I would make a motion that we appoint Dr. Rinda as our representative to CAPS Collaborative for the coming, see the date.
Keystone.
Oh, Keystone. Okay.
I would second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I was reading this instead of...
Yep, that is next on our agenda. So, submission of the CAPS Collaborative Quarterly Financial Report to the School Committee. Mr. Renda, Dr. Renda.
Again, you're doing most of my job for me, Mr. Chair. This is the submission of the CAPS Collaborative quarterly update for the member districts, which we are one. I think some of probably the most exciting thing here is that they are leasing a new building in Leominster where their offices and an adult program that they are starting is opening. It is in the building, oh goodness, it was the Leominster Library when the library was being renovated. It was also the former home of DCF in Leominster. It is, for those of you who don't know Leominster well, Gold Farms, if you know that, or the old driving range that was in Lancaster. It's on that road. It's pretty exciting, this adult program. There's a huge need for it, and that will be, I believe, starting the next fiscal year. And it's a great space. CAPS is doing a lot of great things. Like I said, they are part of Page Hilltop with their deaf and hard of hearing program, and we've been very happy since we've joined, and actually we received a member discount, which we are now paying less money being a member to them, even with the membership fee, than what we were paying to have students in their out-of-district program prior.
Any questions? No? No other questions? And that does not require a vote. Thank you, Dr. Renda. So I'd like to open for discussion, and then we'll need a vote to open contract negotiations with Dr. Renda, Superintendent of Schools. Is there any discussion?
I think the timing would be good. I mean, we're talking about getting into our next strategic planning. It's nice to know if you have the same captain on the ship at the time. So I think this is, if we're going to extend it, if we can come to an agreement on the contract, this would be the perfect time to do that.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
No argument.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
I'd make a motion that we open contract negotiations with Dr. Renda for the Superintendent of Schools position.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So back to you, Dr. Renda, for your superintendent's report.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for the final update from our general counsel on the regional agreement, so not anything new to share there. But on the next item, there is a new seclusion law that has some impact, or has already had impact on the district and will have impact moving forward. There is a memo attached to the superintendent's report. I'm not going to read the memo. I'll just basically give you kind of an outline what has been happening, and I'm sure many of you have heard. It's much more frequent to have students who at times have behaviors that can be unsafe in the classroom. In the past, when I was a building principal, Mr. Cleary was a building principal, though his students were much bigger than mine, so it was much easier for me to do. We could go in and very safely with another staff member remove the student who was being unsafe, bring them to a place to regulate or to co-regulate. get them to a point where they were available to learn and bring them back to class. That is really no longer legally allowed unless a student is an imminent threat to themselves or others. And even that language, getting a definition of what that is very difficult. It's really, that has not been clarified for us. So it's open for interpretation. So this law changes on August 22nd. We have been trying to get into compliance and get ready for this law this current year. We have, instead of going in for and meeting a student where they are and removing them from that situation, what we have to do now is evacuate the classroom. So we can have a student who is flipping a chair or a desk or any number of unsafe actions. And what we do is immediately move the classroom. The teacher would take the students and go to a safe place. If it was Page Hilltop, for instance, they might go into the cultural arts. Other places might be the cafeteria, the gym, any open space. And then administration and behavioral staff would go in and try to help regulate the student in that classroom. This is a significant disruption to education, but there's really not much of a choice here. One of the things that we are realizing is we need to do a better job at communicating with our families when this happens, so that they're hearing this from adults and not hearing it from a first grade student or a second grade student, and then have lots of questions, and it can be scary for parents. We were lucky enough to have a conversation with the parent who this has affected, and when I say we, Mrs. Bernard joined me for this conversation. And this parent had very reasonable requests, would like to be contacted by the school in the form of an email. If their child was directly involved, a phone call. And that's what we're planning on doing. We have a kind of a draft, kind of a template letter, when a template letter can be used for these situations, and oftentimes it can be. And it's just out of transparency and just to be upfront and clear with parents. However, one of the things that we may ask the school committee, if they are in agreement, there are many districts pushing back against this and asking the Department of Ed to reconsider this rule. I'll give you a for instance. If I am no longer safety care trained, so I am not restraint trained, I cannot legally restrain a student. I had been in the past many times. There were times that I was, and it's lapsed, and I recertified. By the way, all administrators will be safety care trained this summer. But I can't even stand in front of a door to prohibit a student who is being unsafe from leaving a room. Students have to have access almost always to be able to exit any room they wish to exit. One of the techniques, besides very safely removing a student from a classroom when I was a principal, another technique that was used often, once you remove that student, you bring them to a safe place, and you just literally stand in front of the door in a very safe place, where it could be beanbags and other things that the student can use to calm down, and just wait until they're regulated. Just wait the behavior out. This is a technique we probably all used when we had toddlers. I'm currently still using this at home with a 4-year-old. But we're not, as a school, we're not supposed to do that. And when we are allowed to do that, it's still gray, that the state hasn't clearly defined when that's okay and when that's not okay. I think what has happened is when many districts did this, or some districts did this, they didn't do this with an abundance of caution, they didn't do this with trained staff, and they would go in and be frustrated and angry with the student who was being violent and out of control, and maybe yank them out of the room, and it causes injury. And so this is, to me, the version of it, the state taking recess away from everybody, right? So there's some guilty districts who don't do this the right way, and they're taking this away as a method to not interrupt education and to help kids really co-regulate. And it seems extreme to us. So we are pushing back as a group of superintendents. We may ask the school committee to join us in that, if you agree. But I think one of the things you would have seen in the past when I was doing this as a building principal with a first grade or a kindergarten student, for instance, many times they would want to come with me because of an established relationship that was built. And oftentimes I would carry them, a toddler, like I would carry my own son. And what you would see often, if you were an observer, is a student almost immediately collapse into the adult holding them, head down on the shoulder, and a complete, almost an immediate relaxation. Heartbeats start to go in rhythm, breathing starts to go in rhythm, and co-regulation's happening there. We can't do that anymore. And I can understand why. All you see on the news is students who get injured by being removed inappropriately, or students put in behavioral boxes. We don't have behavioral boxes. We wouldn't have behavioral boxes. We absolutely have calm down rooms. We've talked to you about them before. They're outfitted with fidgets and comfortable furniture and plenty of other things to try to help the student co-regulate. So we're trying to work this out without these rooms currently. And so what you've seen is many more evacuations this year in our elementary schools. It really isn't a Milroe High School problem than what we've seen in the past. We've learned a lot. I think we're going to be better at this next year. But one of the things that is going to happen is the school is going to communicate with every parent in that classroom that an evacuation happened. And if your child was put into, in particular, was put into an unsafe situation, you're going to get a call from either a school counselor or a school administrator letting you know that, so that the parent would have the opportunity to ask further questions. We're trying to do this in a way where we protect the privacy of the student who is having difficulty, but we feel we need to communicate better and be more transparent with parents about when this and why this happens. But this all comes, I feel like I'm rambling a bit there. This is all coming back to that seclusion law that we think is really overreaching, and once again taking tools away from the school that almost everyone else has. Parents have them, police would have them, but schools for some reason don't. And we really want to get back to a place, and I'm not speaking for everyone, this is really to me, where if it's not okay to hit a police officer in Shop and Save, it shouldn't be okay to hit a teacher in a school. And we're not there right now. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I felt that was my apologies for a bit of a ramble. This is a very important topic to me. I think we can do things the way that we were doing them with care for the child, and it will be more beneficial to them, but we're figuring it out. And in the meantime, we're going to change our communication to parents when this does happen.
It just seems like that's what, I understand your need and want to communicate with the parents. That seems like that could be a lot. I mean, you're talking about communicating with all, not the parents. I'm sure you'll be talking to the parents of the child that had the problem, but now you have to talk to everybody else. So find some way to notify them. That seems like that would be a really tough load.
Yeah, often it's just going to be an email, and the programs that we have, we can pinpoint just the class and send it all at once. But there will be times when, if a student is throwing books and Mr. Plunkett's kid was hit with a book, we're going to give Mr. Plunkett a call and let him know. So yeah, it's going to, at times it's going to be a lot of work, but we all have kids here. If my child was hit with the book, I'd want to know, and I'd want to hear it from an adult, not the version, not the version that my kid is going to come home with. So that's work we're willing to take on.
Ashley had her hand up.
No, I just wanted to say, as Dr. Linda said, I joined the call. He did 99% of the talking, and I just wanted to say he did a really great job explaining it. And I think the important thing is, as a parent who's had their kid come home and say, so-and-so, as they say, crashed out today in class. I didn't know what that meant, but I learned. And it coming from them, it's so much scarier because you don't know what they're talking about. You don't know, what really happened. and why they had to all leave their classroom. And I think as a parent, it's super frustrating to hear that 20-something kids had to leave the room because one kid needed some assistance. And I think that might be where our parent who wanted to speak to us was at. And I think the parents need to know that they're doing it because they have to, not because that's the choice any of us necessarily want. The other thing was, I think, Dr. Render, you mentioned this on the call, but I think the biggest issue is you're making the child stay in the place where they initially got upset to begin with. So like instead of moving them to someplace new where they might regulate, as you said, you're keeping them in the classroom where the incident started. So I do think that maybe if we're able to write a letter as a school committee, kind of, speaking out against this law, and I think that would be really important. And then also, I think one of the other kind of take-homes I took from the conversation, we're prioritizing the safety of one student over the others. And I think that's why it's really important to tell parents when these incidents are happening, because that's how it feels when you're not getting the full story. So just to kind of find a better solution, because as Dr. Renda said, if he's not even allowed to stop the child from leaving the classroom, how can he stop the child from throwing the books or throwing the chair? So I just think it might be more work, but I think we at least owe it to the families. I've personally spoken to families who were considering leaving the district because of these issues. So they're really serious, and people are really, really upset about it. So I just want to make sure we do everything we can to not lose families.
And I think communicating will probably bring a lot of that anxiety down. Our teachers make very good decisions in the moment often. There was one instance where the teacher has known the student all year and could tell this was about to happen, and simply just had the students exit. I think they went on we're all going to take a bathroom break. Students didn't even really realize what was happening. So that type of thing happens every day. It probably happened today at one of our elementary schools, where there wouldn't need to be a need for an evacuation email there, because there was no unsafe behavior. The teacher just noticed it and moved the class away. There was another example where we had a student having a difficult time in the hallway. The student happened to be they were in the nurse's office having a difficult time. The class that the student is a member of happened to be walking out of their classroom to go to, I believe it was art. Teacher noticed it, saw it happening, said, "It's a beautiful day, we're gonna walk outside to art today." Kids were happy to walk outside. It didn't really disrupt their day. But one of the things that happened in this instance is a student did see his classmate having a difficult time, went home and shared that information with the parent. The parent thought this was a typical evacuation, was upset, rightfully so, and concerned about what had happened. If we had communicated that, we could have eliminated all of that anxiety. It was handled perfectly by the teacher in that instance. So we know we can improve on this. We weren't not telling parents because we didn't want them to know. We were just it was an overabundance of student privacy. But we feel like this is important enough that parents have the right to know, and we can I believe we can communicate that without violating any student privacy issues.
Was DESE getting pressured from above, the political pressure from above to do something because of a couple of incidents? I mean, it doesn't sound like this is the kind of thing that normally, you would come out of a think tank with psychologists and developmental people to say this is better for everybody for all these reasons. It just sounds like this is a knee-jerk reaction that someone told us to do. It just doesn't seem like there's much behind this.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to speculate on that. Out of control behavior is rampant throughout the country. We're seeing a lot more of this than we have in the past. As to why, I don't know. I can say that one of the reasons may be that their students may feel like there aren't a ton of consequences for this type of behavior, but what I will say is that we impose all the consequences that we can legally. Whether or not that's enough, we don't know. This isn't, the next thing I'm about to say is not a reflection on any of our current parents. I would say all of the parents that I'm aware of who are struggling with some of their child's behaviors have done everything we've asked them to do. But in general, accountability has been taken away from the parent and put on the school district. And what we all know what happens, right? A student gets removed from class in an unsafe way, gets injured, which is unfortunate. The school gets sued, and then everything changes. As soon as one school is sued and loses, and that money comes out, the recommendations all change. This seclusion law, I believe, is coming from the Board of Education. There's one practitioner on there, I believe. I think there's one former superintendent. I'm not sure if there's any former teachers on the Board of Education. But it really handicaps us as far as how we can handle things. And there's not one person, not one adult, not one educator in Air Shirley who wants to injure a child. Whenever I've seen restraints in this district, it is done with an abundance of care. And nobody wants to do it. It's always a last resort. But now standing in front of a door is considered a restraint. If I stand in front of a door and don't allow a student to exit, we have to record that as a restraint. I can't even do that because currently I'm not restraint trained. So it's interesting. It is things that I would not allow my own child to do. And I would, if it was my child, I'd just throw them over my shoulder and walk them out wherever they were. But we can't. We can't do that. We can't. If it was I would sit with my child and I would sit in front of their door in their room, and they would stay in there until they were calm, which is was a common technique in schools for many years. We can no longer do that.
Yep.
A question and maybe two comments. How many evacuations, and this can be ballpark, like within a dozen, how many evacuations do you think there have been in the district this year?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can get that information.
Yeah, and part is because I'm imagining the volume of communication to families, and I'm again thinking about I can't tell if this is a sort of event that is now occurring every other week in a classroom, once a semester, once a year, right? And I can imagine a generic email coming every week saying your class was evacuated because of behavior, how that might sit. So it would be helpful to know like what an average family, and again, I imagine most of this is occurring in elementary grades, but what an average family in Air Shirley might expect in terms of number of emails.
Sure.
I do think that it is worthwhile, and again, I don't know when, so I'm like, there's some like preemptive communication that it feels like would be important. So rather than a parent, the first thing they see is your child was evacuated because of it. And again, you can write the email as sort of like benign and matter of fact as possible. If you see the word evacuation, like you're going to have a certain reaction. So I just putting that procedure into context as early in the year as possible, I think will be helpful for families, whether that's part of kindergarten orientation nights or back to school nights, building some awareness of here's a procedure from the state that we're required to follow. If we have to use it in your classroom, you will get this type of communication. If you have questions, like let us know. I think doing that on the front end would help tamper what might be, I think, reasonably big reactions to an email that, again, is relatively benign. And then I would say if there are folks on the committee who are feeling spicy about this, and I mean, every year we talk about the mask amendments that we vote on. This could potentially be something if someone wanted a fun summer project. So not nominating myself, but if someone is motivated by it, it feels like something that you could put into an amendment to be voted on at the mask conference.
If I may, the memo will be, the information in the memo will be an email to parents in the next weekly update, so next Monday. But it's also, I think it's a great idea to include this in preschool and in kindergarten orientation. There is a example of a template type of letter. I imagine including a little bit more information on each instance, because some of these are going to be very
and I think
low level.
Quick, matter of fact, if because of a requirement by the state, if there's a behavior that could pose any sort of threat, which could be, as again, a book is thrown, the sort of behavior that you can, we've all seen in classrooms, we've all seen in our homes. This is the procedure that we're required to follow. If we follow that, we will send you an email. If your child was, in any kind of risk, you will get a phone call. Like, I think that matter of fact.
And just, we'll get the numbers. That won't be difficult. I know that both principals are keeping logs of that. But I don't want to just throw a number out there. I have one, but I'm not going to. I'll get to the
it's not urgent. I'm just trying, again, in my mind, I'm like, next year, are we going to be getting the email of, I've gotten, a dozen of these emails over the course of the first half of the school year, what's going on?
Part of the rationale, though, too, is that they're already being told about these evacuations.
1,000%.
They're just being told by their 5-year-old, 6-year-old, which is, as we all know, that information is not always reliable nor accurate. So we want to make sure that the parents are hearing it from us.
I think another important note, Dr. Under, would be that usually by the time you get to like the third instance, I think other steps are probably being taken on your side where, maybe that child is getting additional assistance. So hopefully like the same classroom wouldn't get.
Sure,
I mean, I guess you don't know, but.
Yeah, I mean, if once is an anomaly, right, and twice is now we have 2 data points, 3 times is a pattern, right? So we have, these students are all brought up during our student support group meetings. We are putting plans in. As soon as it happened once, we're trying to figure out why. We're calling home, we're seeing what other supports they have. If they happen to have outside therapy, we're looking to get releases to talk to that therapist, putting in safety plans and behavior plans. If they're not in special education, there could be a referral to special education so that we could do a functional behavior analysis and a behavior intervention plan. There's a whole slew of things that we do for all of these students that parents just don't know that we do. It's we're not crossing our fingers and hoping that this doesn't happen. It's very frustrating. And the parents are doing a lot too. I mean, not to take away the parents who are dealing with these behaviors from their kids, almost always are doing everything we ask them to do. But a lot of what happens to help these kids is trial and error, right? And some of the things that they do takes 2 to 3 weeks to see if they're going to work, right? So it's a tough situation.
The point about student privacy, maybe also, again, like if you have that, like, and again, ideally short 45-second amount of airtime, like at a, again, the preschool, kindergarten, back to school nights, would be the note about, and like, we respect every student and staff's privacy, right? Like, because of both federal law and our respect for all of the students and families in this community, we will let you know when things happen. We will not communicate who the child is or the things that we are doing to support that child. That is something that we are not going to or able to communicate to you. That might be unsatisfying, but we assure you, we are doing all the things we can to support that child. Like, again, that's sort of proactively saying, you're not going to know this, that's going to be frustrating, trust us.
One of the things that we can do is communicate the supports that we would give everyone who happens to have this type of behavior.
Exactly.
And we can do, if we do that before anything happens at the beginning of the year, That makes it a lot easier.
Because,
And
you know,
that's where we need to get better. I think.
Because the parent who, Johnny got hit in the head with a book that got tossed. What are you doing? We're like, what are you doing? Right? Like, and that's, again, natural parent reaction.
Sure.
If they know on the front end, when you say no, they can sort of couch it in, oh yeah, I heard that thing.
Yeah. We can do that.
Transparency, and transparency as much as possible. That's what it comes down to, like, up front, what's going on.
Yeah, and again, you say it ahead of time so that when it's
Right.
heated, it's
When you're not in the,
already stated.
when you're not in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, so we are in the final stretch. We have 31 days remaining in this school year. The last day for our seniors is May 29th. The class of 2026 graduation will be held on Friday, June 5th, and the last day of school for grades preschool through 11 is on May, wishful thinking, I guess, June 22nd. There's nothing new to report for college acceptances or
There should be one I don't see on here. That's Columbia. Nice little school.
Great place to go.
Yeah. It should be on here. I mean, it's. I know someone just committed to Columbia.
We'll get that added.
Yeah, gotta get them on here.
There is a possibility they didn't tell the guidance department, but we'll go ahead and add Columbia. Yeah, that's a great school, Ivy League school, fantastic.
Columbia in New York.
Yeah.
Did a semester there.
Did you?
I sure
One
did.
of the four?
Yeah.
I did want to take the opportunity to let the school community know, unfortunately, I will not be attending graduation this year. My daughter is graduating the exact same night from Fitchburg High School. I have asked Dr. Caleri to speak in my stead. He has accepted. I'm sure he will do a great job, and it will make me look really bad for next year.
Do we have an
So
outside
thanks for
speaker
nothing.
coming in?
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Do we have an outside speaker coming in this year?
I'm sorry?
Do we have an outside speaker coming in?
That is a great question. I'm not sure yet.
Just curious.
We'll let you know. Yeah,
Always
it could be.
interesting, but
Enjoy your graduation.
Thank you. And that is all for the superintendent's report.
Okay.
well, those two are set, right? They're gone. Graduate from high school. This will be the.
I'm sorry, what?
This is your second daughter who's graduating from high school, right? So
Yeah, I got one graduating from college in 2 weeks, next week, and then one graduating from high school, and then I got to wait a long time for I got a ways to go. One not in kindergarten yet. Interesting timing.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Renda. For ongoing business, there is no ongoing business. I do not have any chairperson's notes for tonight. Are there any other topics for discussion not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of this meeting?
Not tonight.
No? No? Then we have our communications. I can bring it up. I have it. So on Thursday, May 7th, the Air Shirley Regional High School Spring Concert at 6:30 p.m. at the high school. On Monday, May 11, Shirley Annual Town Meeting at 7 p.m. in the middle school. On Tuesday, May 12, Air Shirley PTO Meeting, 7 o'clock, Laurel A. White. Wednesday, May 13, Middle School Cultural Day, 5 to 8 p.m. at the middle school. Wednesday, May 13th, ASEF meeting at 7 p.m. at the high school. Friday, May 15th, half day of school, no AM preschool. Dismissal times for the high school are 11:25 a.m., middle school 11:15 a.m., Laurel A. White and Page Hilltop 12:15 p.m. On Sunday, May 17th, is the Janice Bresnahan Run for Education. Registration starts at 10 a.m. at the high school. Monday, May 18th, robotics banquet, 6 to 8 p.m. at the high school. And Wednesday, May 20, school committee meeting, 6:30 p.m. at the middle school. I guess we should have done an announcement for our award-winning robotics.
that's just what I was going to ask for.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
just where I was going.
Yes.
They were the champions.
In their section, absolutely, yes.
They did fantastic,
Yeah, they did great.
fantastic, right?
For New England or for
In Houston.
nationals?
Yeah,
Nationals.
Nationals.
Yeah, so
I
we
forget
will,
that-
we will invite them into a school committee meeting before the end of the year and have a,
Because there was awesome stuff and there was good stuff.
It's a name, but consider it their district.
got
They,
calls
the
about it.
first time in their history, they are champions.
Yeah, all right.
we were getting
Have a
updates
sign coming to
from
town.
Obo.
Golf team,
Yeah,
robotics team.
absolutely.
But we had a teacher, one of our teachers there, Mr. Obo, he was giving Mr. Christie live updates, and then we were receiving them from
Fantastic.
Spencer. Yeah.
The kids are so excited and so increased with self-confidence from that program that, and just going is, I asked a couple of them, even last year, just going was like, they couldn't get over their thrill of it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a huge thing.
It's fantastic.
It's
It's a great,
huge.
great program.
It's huge.
Impressive kids.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just, since we had the Shirley vote yesterday, the town election, I would like to thank all the people in Shirley who voted and got out and did their civic duty. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Because
It was a tough election.
it's hard to fight ghosts.
Congratulations.
Well, I really want to thank anybody who comes out to vote. The vote was very light, and because there wasn't really too much going on, but I appreciate people when they come out and, you know, even come out and vote and leave it blank. That's still participating in government and your civic duty. So that's where I'm going.
Is there any need for executive session?
There's not.
Do not believe. Then I will take a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn at 8:15. If I can read the clock sideways. Is that close?
Yep, close. I would second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?